Looking into the walkthrough of the Unity project, there's still much to consider in terms of scaling the size of assets as well as additional detail for the already existing props designed by myself. The car park is home to multiple cars lined up, and one of them belongs to the player, which can be driven once they essentially finish the workload they have. This brings up the topic of the user interface of the project. A few things necessary consists of a transparent cursor, which will represent the player's line of sight to click objects, which is a form of interaction, while the other stuff will be basically statistics on the bottom right, which tells you how much you need to do and how much you have done already, and also potentially a mini-map. The cars scattered around the car park are interactable and will play a sound when you left click them. On terms of access around the environment, in this section here, there are two invisible barriers from both left and right. These little areas here have been blocked up by a scrap bin and a bunch of pallets. So they are inaccessible, and also to ensure that there's no little holes and way to glitch around, there are also invisible colliders which have been placed. The anonymous building shown here is basically the meeting room, which is locked up by a door until the amount of work on the bottom right section is completed. Then it will open up on its own, and when you walk into there, the credits will play. More assets seen in the building, such as chairs and tables, as well as a television and forklifts on the side, have been designed by myself. Regarding forklifts, they may see some additional change as it's currently not exactly in the state that I want it to be in and needs more detail. Upon entering the factory, this area will be closed up, so at the moment there is no roof, but there will be one, and there will be basically beams that sort of hold it up, so additional details must be taken into consideration for both the roof and the walls as well as the floor. And also little yellow lines which sort of fits into adding detail for the floor will be added. That sort of represents the lane for the forklift and where it's not meant to enter. Here we have a kitchen, which might have been seen before as the windows from the outside. A few things have been added into here, such as a couple tables, some chairs, and also kitchen-like, I guess, objects like a fridge that's interactable, which can open, a microwave, which sort of works the same as the fridge, and a sink, which is able to generate water. Each of these will have their own respectful audio sounds, as the fridge will just have an opening sound. Microwave will have like a sound that sort of represents that it's on, and the sink will also have a flowing water sound. Lights will also be in this space. Back to the main factory, we'll also have some lights scattered around from the roof. Press machines are currently represented as these yellow box colliders which have been scattered around the map. There's 4 small ones and one large one. The press machines themselves haven't actually been created into assets, as I don't wish to rush them and want to put some more time into them, since they are basically the primary interactable feature for this project. Sound audio wise, they're going to play quite a loud clink noise to represent that they have been switched on. Switching them on, you will either left click or you will just approach them. Many large stands are also around, as seen potentially from before in the forklift area. They hold objects such as coils or cardboard boxes. Currently, there's no actual plan to have these interactable, although if there was, I'd have basically you grabbing the coil with a forklift and putting it onto the press machine. Currently though, with my knowledge, I'm not entirely sure how I would go about that. The factory office was quite recently made, so some objects still need to be scaled as currently the windows are just way too large. The room itself is also just way too huge and makes the character feel way too small. Lights will also be on the roof, the ceiling here, and the door itself will be interactable. Either by clicking or just approaching it, you'll see it swing open and close. As for the shelf here, safety goggles and headphones will be placed here, which will alter the experience for the player. The goggles will change the player's user interface, the UI, so it's less transparent in a way, so it's sort of like, I guess, maybe a bit more grey. As for the headphones, they will either reduce the amount of sound heard or just stop it altogether. For the whole atmosphere itself, right now it's quite void. I would like to add some more roads around the area, especially from the outdoor next to the car park, which will have like the player sort of drive out, which will have the screen sort of fade out. So that will represent that they've actually finished the game.